Well, man, people, happy Wednesday, everyone. How are you? How have you been? Hope you had a great Tuesday yesterday. Last week of streaming of the year, as you can see down there. For American viewers, we have it inverted. Like the center one is the month, and the left one is the day instead. Pretty much, I think it's like that in the rest of Europe. That's why we have it like that. Okay, people. Uh, we will continue with Diablo 2 as last time. MedianXl Nightmare difficulty, second difficulty, sorcerer class, and we modified our skill tree a bit last time. Okay, so pretty much. Um, we spent a bit more of time by the end of it with the skill tree and distributing the stat points, which I found out you can do so without any kind of issue. So yeah, pretty much. Let us go. We couldn't do the Tomb of Tal Rasha last time. I also improved my armor and my attack. But yeah, as you can see, we changed the armor a bit. So we are right at the end of the second chapter, Canyon of the Magi. Find the real Tomb of Tal Rasha. We know it's that one. Remember that enemies respawn with this mod. It's absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it to everyone. Oh, damn it, those deal a lot of damage, that's for sure. Alright, I didn't have my... I knew there was something wrong. I didn't have my running activated. Hello, young king. How have you been, Patrick? I'm not as young as you, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately, I would be, I would be okay if I was left at, I don't know, 25 instead of 30. 5 years less forever. 25, it's more than enough for me. For me, by the time I was 25, it was pretty much, I was pretty much already like this, so good like that. How have you been, Patrick? Remember what I said yesterday. Don't ever miss me in these 3 weeks of summer break holidays. I will always be with you, and you can write to me over at Discord. So last time I rearranged my skill tree here, people. So as you can see now, instead of this one and the fire dance there, pretty much I am using this one. And in fact, I will reactivate it, most probably. Yeah, because from that point onwards, it's just 2% extra, 2% extra damage. But just so I have a different skill here that I have assigned there, I'm used to that skill, even if it's a bit weaker, because now we have it as a passive instead the bulk of the damage from here. So yes, pretty much. In this case, it deals 32% damage for 6 seconds after being hit when I am attacked, pretty much. It crushes the attackers. So Patrick, don't feel sad about that. Don't feel sad about my holidays. If the channel ever grows, I will stop taking holidays, I guess. But for now, I have to do so. Otherwise, I can go crazy more than I am. Your English teacher was fascinated by your speaking practice today. Good. As English teacher, that is incredible. That has to happen. With your pronunciation, it may be... Well, if you listen a lot to me and other videos in English, well, naturally that improves. As when you listen, you improve the pronunciation a lot. So yeah, from listening to videos in English all the time, With the amount of time that you've listened to my stream speaking in English, in that sense, only because of that, your pronunciation must be the best of your class. If I warm up my English, I can speak almost fluently. That can take years, Patrick. That can take years. That can take years. It will take you years. Trust me. Yeah, if you practice hard, without a doubt, without a doubt, that's pretty good. It's always pretty good. Always practice that. Good. Another Nephrune. Perfect. But it only increases the damage if I place it on armor. No. Any socket is the same effect. One Nephrune, two Nephrunes. Do I have any other? No, I only looted two. Good. They were quite lucky, but only two. Okay. I ran out of potions again. Do I have any other Nephrune over at my stash? A Nephrune. I see one there. I got one Nephrune here. 3. So 9% extra lining here, and the rest must be here. I wonder if I can remove them from my previous staff. Maybe that was the fucking use of the Horadric cube. It generally only... Yeah, this one combines. I don't know how to fucking separate. How do I separate? Take, try, talk, repair, no. The 7 tunes, introduction, the 7 tunes, no. It's good. It's good, the part about the English, because it will ensure that you always have a source of knowledge much more expanded than all of our original languages, as all computing is done in English, well, pretty much everything. Well, luckily, if I want to study in the Catholic University, I will have to choose a teacher degree, master's degree, instead of law or whatever. If you want to study in the Catholic... And what do you mean, likely? You have to study, you have to choose a teacher degree, master's degree instead of law or whatever. And why is it lucky that they are like conditioning what you have to choose? In that sense. Why is it lucky? Huh? 8 mana after each kill. This one is useful. Where is it? This one. Perfect turquoise. Where is the one? This one. Perfect sapphire. Only inserted in a weapon has that effect. This one has a Nephrune. One Nephrune. Okay, I need just one more Nephrune. Here I have 2, but I don't know how to remove them. Fuck. I wasn't told how to remove. How to remove the runes. What do you mean? That is that luckily in that sense, Patrick. What do you mean? You have to choose a teacher's master's degree instead of law. In that sense, yeah. Because I was indecisive between law and teacher, and now I must go for the teacher degree in order to study in a good place. Ah, but that's not a problem. Then you can do whatever you like, of course. I would still recommend teacher. I think it's much better than being a lawyer. Well, but I am biased. People don't listen to me. I'm fucking biased. I'm fucking biased because... Hey, 16% attack speed? Yeah, that's quite good. But careful, because cast is different than attack speed, I believe, huh? Careful, people. Good. So you were indecisive, and like that, they solved that for you. That's good. That's pretty good. I would still tell you that teacher is much. You are going to enjoy it much more in that sense because of how I see that you like my style of chatting with you. In that sense, it's quite similar to that. So if you like that, pretty much. Yeah, the government raised teachers' payment by a lot. Also, okay, okay. Yeah, that's good. Besides, with lawyer, you have the problem of, well, it's a profession in which you are constantly in a constant conflict, in that sense. So I don't know. At least for me, it wasn't. We'll teach English and Hungarian. That's more like it. You will teach English, then you can teach Hungarian to others, to other countries. You can go to Austria, for example, there and teach them Hungarian. I don't know. Sure, sure, of course. So we left here last time, people. I didn't clear the dungeon, anyways. I will respawn. Well, let's see if my new powers are, because by last time I couldn't finish. Oh well. There we go. Good, good, Patrick. Besides, with English, you will always have like access to an amount of knowledge that we just don't have in any other languages. Though everything I learned about philosophy was in Spanish, but yeah. Then pretty much everything about games and oh, shit, those beaches, those living flames, anything about games or general culture or etc. In the last 20 years, if you don't, if you cannot understand advanced English, well, it can be a problem because you are like cut off from the modern world in that sense. And while I do so culturally by choice, one thing is culturally and another thing is not being able to access the knowledge. Completely different in that sense. So yeah. The treasure goblin probably disappeared. My bad. I hate those living flames because they kind of like explode and kill you in one blow. So let's shit. No, no. Let me move. Let me move. There were some stupid urns there. There we go. Good. We're dealing more damage. Good. Okay, good. I need to be careful with those. Nah, I would never move into another country. We have Hungarian grammar and literature, and I want to teach. You wouldn't move outside of Hungary, Patrick. That one is interesting. That's weird for someone of your young age. Even when I was 7, in that we are different. Even when I was 7 or 10, I wanted to move to the United States or the United King. Well, the United Kingdom was my dream, always. But yeah, any English-speaking country, even more after learning English in that sense. So yeah. Weird. So you want to teach it in Hungary. And about English, I think that's the most useful subject in the world. Good. We agree on that. We agree on that. We agree on that. My mother would agree with you as well. I think the only thing she wouldn't agree on is the fact that the name Kevin is good, isn't good, because it was the one that she was gonna choose. But regarding English, yes, she would agree with you 100%. Indeed, as I do. Oh, nice trap. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Perfect. Perfect your English. Go for a perfect pronunciation in that sense. And it's useful it's like the most useful subject as you say that you can learn. You were in Romania. Oh, with district. and I had nearly panic attacks. No, why? 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 District is right there. I think he was like he was like in the outskirts of the capital. I think he was, if I remember correctly. So, oh, why you had panic attacks over at District's homeland? Oh, why? Because of the language barrier. And English wasn't enough to as a common ground. It wasn't enough as a common ground. In that sense. Okay. See, in that case, in our case, I didn't have that problem when moving to when visiting, for example, Uruguay, which is the country that we have right beside us. Is that small, our younger brother Uruguay. It's like a small country right beside Argentina. We don't have that problem because we all speak Spanish. It's the thing that comes with being all descended from the Spaniards in that sense. Romanians hate Hungarians mostly because of it. No, don't say that. District is Romanian and he doesn't hate you, Patrick. Not at all. No, why? Maybe not. Maybe older generations, but not. I don't think youngsters would. I mean, District is my age. He's one year older, but like flying energies. But no, why do you say that? No. Orifice. Let's insert the Horadric staff. Ah shit! Now I see the problem. Okay, let's go back to town. I left it at the. I left it over at the. I left it over at the. Over at the stash. No worries. Here. Solved. Perfectly solved. Oh, why do you say that? Because of history, because of ancient wars. Because of ancient wars, Patrick. No, I don't think so. That the Romanians and the Hungarians hate each other. You can ask District. He will tell you that is not the case. Here we go, people. We've done it. Oh, I love those screen shakes at 140 FPS. That was so smooth compared to the original experience. I've been struggling with my courage lately. I have literally zero intention to study straight up. Oh, it happened to me. Don't feel bad like that. Just know this, if you feel like that right now in high school, or having finished high school, then we'll have a hard time over at university, Patrick. So no. So no. Don't feel like that because you are right about to get into the most intense portion of an academic's life. Palrashast, Chamber, Duriel, huge Scarab there. Darn it. Dang it. Oh, it has a small knockback. There, take all the damage. Take all the fucking damage. I think I ran out of mana. A bit of mana there. That should do it. Yep, our new build is quite brutal. I love the new special effects. Oh, I love it when the screen shakes. What the? I love it when the screen shakes. Ah, those things are dealing damage to it. When the screen shakes at 140 FPS, compared to the original experience that I remember it was at 30. That's something that they did. Ah, those are like the worms from the trash can that I told you the other day. We're like these ones, pretty much. Pretty well done. How they updated all of this. Pretty well done. But in university, I will have to study English and Hungarian, my favorite subject. Careful, Patrick. That's the argument that everyone says. That that's the argument that everyone says. That's the argument that everyone says. That everyone thinks will be like, myself included. Everyone over at my high school, when confronted with the things that I told you, that they didn't have any intention to study because they were tired and etc., replied exactly the same that you are replying at 18 years. Everyone replied exactly the same. Well, it's because I don't like math, or I don't like history, but over at university I will study what I what I really love, so it won't feel like that. Yeah, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's fucking not like that. It's not like that. You will feel exactly the same as in high school, I assure you of that. No, it's not like that. Don't enter university with that mindset, because it is precisely what will get you completely discouraged, as it is what everyone thinks. No, but I will study what I like. It's just that I don't like mathematics, or I don't like physics, or etc. Yeah, no. No, exactly what is going to happen is that you will first need some general culture that you will learn over at the university, in that sense, and you will feel that once again you will never study exactly what you ex- exclusively the aspects of any subject that you like. Never. There will always be some aspects that you will not like. So, I assure you that that's the trap. That's the trap of that mindset. That's why you shouldn't enter with that mindset. You shouldn't enter university with that mindset. Careful, I have a cable here that I have to deal with. Never. That's what everyone thinks, and that's what makes everyone then not study. Because it's precisely because of that.
I thank you, mortal, for my freedom.
Tyrael.
But I did expect you earlier. I am the Archangel Tyrion. I came here to prevent Diablo from freeing his brother Baal. But I have failed. Now terror and destruction roam free throughout your world. Even now, they head towards the eastern capital of Kurast, to the very heart of the Zakharum Temple. There they hope to find their eldest brother, Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, who was imprisoned there ages ago. If the three prime evils unite, they will be invincible. Though it is unclear as to what their aims are, it is certain that they must be stopped at all costs. I am broken, and the energies that tie me to this world are diminishing rapidly. You must take up this quest and prevent the three brothers from reuniting. You must cross the sea and search for Diablo and Baal in Kurast. Now, hurry, mortal. Time is running out for all of us.
Sorry, I love talking to this guy. You hate math, and I have straight B's, so I'm doing quite well, but I'm not maxing out. Shit, no worries. In math, for example, I always had 8. For example, 8 out of 10, like you are mentioning, close to what you are mentioning. But no, I meant like the mindset that you
I thank you,
mentioned.
mortal, for my freedom. I thank you, mortal.
Ah, but he doesn't talk. Okay. No, but what I'm telling you.
This is terrible news. Baal is in possession of one of mankind's most powerful mages, and the Lord of Terror guides his path. They must be stopped, for I am sure they mean to free their elder brother Mephisto, the Lord of Hate.
Vale is like possessing Tal Rasha, the Horadrim. Just for those of you who are lost. In terms of the story, talk to Ayerhim. I don't know who that might be. It's not like that, Patrick. It's not like that. It's like inside of the subjects that you think you like English, for example, there will be topics. There will be topics that you may not like. Okay?
Perhaps he sees more threat than his peers. Where the actions of hell often seem straightforwardly bent on destruction, motives of heaven are unfathomable. Now,
In that sense,
both Diablo and Baal
that's why it's a trap.
before they join with their brother Mephisto. If the three prime evils unite once again, the world as we know it will be no more.
See how cohesive the story was for Diablo 2 compared to Diablo 3. So it's not that, it's that inside of English, inside of Hungarian grammar and etc., there will be aspects that you may not like, or the history part of it.
My ship is your ship. Jaren tells me I should take you east to Kurast. I haven't been there for several years, but
So yeah, pretty much. I think first here you have to talk to the mayor of town before departing, something like that. Talk to Iron. Yeah, pretty much. So it's like that. I think he was over here. This one, this guy.
You have done very well. Few could have come this far.
So the thing is that inside of English, inside of Hungarian, inside of the subject you choose to study over at university,
This is most unfortunate.
Patrick, inside of it, not math, not chemistry, not those, inside of it there will be aspects that will bore you. I never studied English grammar or anything. I learned it from games. Beside that, I'm focused in every English lesson, but I never did a single homework. For example, okay, I'm only A with 95% or 100% test without studying at home. Either I am a genius or my school is weak. I can assure you, sadly for you, is the second. Because if you tell me you never did homework, you never did any of those things, it means that the amount of difficulty over at school is low. Just like what happened in my case. That's why I took like classes one-on-one, and there the difficulty skyrocketed. I assure you that's the case. I assure you that's the case. For example, sometimes I correct some things that you write, and well, yeah, pretty much. I can assure you that's the case. But still quite good. It's incredible how they upscale these cinematics. First time I tried playing this, I couldn't see shit. It was all pixelated. What a legend, this game, man. What a legend.
I began to see a change in my companion. He seemed to be gaining strength. I could hardly see in the gloom, but my companion seemed to know the way.
For those of you who don't know, that's the companion is the player in Diablo 1 that is now possessed by Diablo. After being vanquished in the first game. He's the player in the first game. That he cannot take containing Diablo anymore.
It was then
Diablo.
I realized my companion hadn't been gaining strength. He had been losing what was left of his
Precisely.
He moved the demon
Now I read it,
stage,
Patrick, eh?
then you appeared. Stop! The beast contained herein shall not be set free, not even by you.
They were so amazing, Blizzard's cinematics back then.
Look what they've done to me. Release me. Help me. Please hurry. No, don't do it! Fool! You have just ensured the doom of this world. You cannot even begin to imagine what you've set in motion this day. Go to the Temple of Light in the eastern city of Karast. There you will find the gate to hell opened before you. You must find the courage to step through that gate, Marius. Take the stone you hold to the Hellforge, where it will be destroyed. Now run. Take the stone and run! What choice did I have? I ran.
It's beautiful how they updated the cinematics. Back when I played it for the first time, I couldn't understand shit about the story because the cinematics were all pixelated for even for screens back in 2007, 2008. It was like all pixelated because the cinematics were like at what 240p, something like that. Like this, they upscale the cinematics. That consider this: my screen is 1440p. It's downscaling to 1080p for the stream, and you can still discern the images in that sense. Oh yeah, I understand. I'm not scared about the university because I know myself. I know what I'm capable of. I know I can be the best, and I try until I can show it to the world. Smile. That's the spirit, patron. That's the spirit. There will be moments of university and you will lose hope a bit, but well,
Certainly this must be Mephisto's work.
you should remember that there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's
Diablo
light at the end of the tunnel,
still
or
out
at least
there.
I felt it like
You
that.
must find them.
But because maybe law is kind of like terrible choice, a terrible choice, because it's a lot to study and well and it really, at least it wasn't rewarding for me, and I knew it. That was the discouraging part for me. In your case, if you know that that as teacher now it's a bit decent, a bit more decent the salary in Hungary, go for it because it's much more dynamic in that sense.
I wish you people would just leave me alone.
In that sense, the only thing that would be dangerous is if teachers don't aren't paid well
Hello
enough.
there. You must be a great adventurer to risk
In that
your life.
sense,
My name's Ashira, and I lead the mercenary band of mages known as the Iron Wolves.
in that
We've been
sense,
hunting down demons
that's
and
the only
witches
thing.
for months.
That's the only thing,
But no matter how
Patrick.
many of them we kill, they just keep
Regarding
coming.
English, well,
Seems as
there's
hopeless as
lots
giving
of
them up.
things. The
We were asked
CAE,
to
the
take you
Certificate in
down.
Advanced English,
What's
for
true about
example,
the
you will need
desires
to
of
sit
our
for that
mercenaries?
one, and that one will be brutal.
If you piss them off, they can be worse than those monsters out in the jungle.
That one will be brutal. It takes a whole day. I sat for it when I was your age, at 18. I sat for the certificate in advanced English. So you'll need that one. Probably they'll probably send you to sit for that one. They'll probably send you to sit for that one, and that one is brutal. But if you can get through the certificate in advanced English, then the rest should be okay. You will need to get used to do homework, huh? You'll need to get used to the homework with the grammar, with the vocabulary, with the rest of the stuff. Games help a bit with vocabulary, but they don't teach you grammar, for example. They don't teach you um, the pronounce the perfect pronunciation. They don't teach you uh, a lot of things that you need to read. Okay, so there you have that. But I think it's much better than lawyer that you said. In that sense, I think it's a bit more dynamic, but yeah, yeah, it still has its its twisted topics that make, because it's completely different to our languages in that sense. It's easy if you are, for example, Dutch. If you are Dutch, it's easy. If you are German, it's also relatively easy. But for Romance speakers, which I presume Hungarian is, as it is more to the south, well, it will have its difficulties in that sense. You'll see once you try to sit for the certificate in advanced English. You'll see.
The children of Zakharum are in league with the forces of Mephisto. The Zakharum have concentrated their power in the temple city of Travancore, located within Karas, deep in the jungle wilderness. It's true, their zeal is unmatched, but I say the so-called warriors of light are nothing more than the twisted puppets of a hidden hand.
Okay, people, let us begin with the third act. Good. If we can get our quests. If we can get our quests here. Quest. 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 Where's the quest? Do I just venture into the jungle and hope for the best? Hey, it says Dark Wonder there. That's Diablo. It's basically the player of the first game. Let me remove the map because it's a solemn moment. There he is. And he disappears, of course. And some demons appear. Okay, good. What now?
I've not set foot in glorious Kurast for many years, but I never would have imagined it could be so.
Quest, main quest, people, please. Over here, I think it was over here. This one.
Greetings, Hero. I've heard of your exploits and I'm quite impressed. Very few mortals are capable of dealing
So
with
yeah,
fury and their
it will have its difficulties. Trust me, it's not just like playing a game. Learning English is not like playing a game. It helps a lot playing games, but it's not like that. Learning the intricacies of grammar and vocabulary to then speak like you may listen to me takes years. Takes years, but you can do it. Just know that there will be moments of frustration, and in those moments, well, I suggest you just look at the vastness of the universe and how our miserable existences. That's what I did before exams. Our miserable existences compared to the vastness of the universe and one exam or being overwhelmed by homework, well, it just won't.
I can't.
What's this? Or, I don't know what that may be. It just can be quite heavy burden to deal with,
Ashira?
but you should always remember that it shouldn't break you. It should never be as heavy as to break you, as to make you collapse and abandon the career like it happens to a lot of people. That's the only objective. Do not abandon the career, even if it's unbearable in that sense. Okay?
Well, I gave you my word and brought you here as promised. But by all that's still holy, I wish I'd never returned to this accursed place.
Okay. So there. So basically that. The main objective is for you is to not abandon
Now,
the career, even if the homework, even if the exams feel unfair, and you feel like it will be and you feel like that it is crushing you. The objective is do not abandon career like a lot of people do. No.
What can I do for you?
I can hire mercenaries. Level 83 defense cost. Okay. Yims! What's up, nerds? How's it going, Yims? They're from Denmark. You have to tell me. No, that you checked out Chaotic. You have to tell me that you checked out Chaotic. In that sense, you cannot be Danish and not check Chaotic. You knew Hugo, but not Chaotic. That is a crime. Chaotic is more important, even. How are you doing, Yims? No, we were just chatting about Patrick going to university. He's from Hungary. I think I told you the other day, and I didn't, lol. I'm balls deep in my Warhammer lore right now, XD. That's a painful reminder that Warhammer Online: The Age of Sigmar, a great MMORPG, closed for us, Yims. I don't know if you like the MMORPGs, but that one closed for us, and it is miserable. That's why I say that online-only games should be illegal, because of that. Because imagine if World of Warcraft closed without the existence of private servers or offline servers, like I tell you that I use. That is a tragedy, people. That is a tragedy. It's just like what happened to WildStar. I don't know if anyone ever remember. Did you get to play Ultima Online? Sadly, this is my last week of streaming of the year, Yims, because of Christmas and New Year. I'll stream today and tomorrow, and then I return on January 13th. So I will do so next year. The main analysis of this year was a game called Drakensang Online. I played WildStar on launch. Shit. You are a fortunate individual. I am not. I couldn't. I was playing Star Wars The Republic, and I couldn't feed two MMORPGs at the same time. That game was glorious, and I am waiting for the modders to revive it. You are a lucky individual. You are a lucky individual. How was the experience? You have to tell me. Because WildStar was one of my dreams. The other one being Darkspore. Now, if you tell me that you also played Darkspore, shit for me, but I know a lot of people enjoyed it, lol. Shit for you, WildStar, no. No, WildStar, shit, no. It was a perfect blend of MMO or RPG. It was developed by ex-Blizzard devs, Yims. No! How can WildStar be shit for you? Why was it shit? I played Rift on launch and Warhammer Age of Reckoning. Damn it. You are an MMORPG player, then. Damn it. Very fortunate. Very fortunate. Darkspore? Did you play Darkspore on launch? If you tell me you played Darkspore on launch, I'll be very envious. Yeah, it was raised on Dark Age of Camelot. Okay, okay. Yeah, you told me about that one. Okay, I have a game that it will make you remember me for. Nope, never tried that one. Tried Hellgate London though. Hellgate London was my analysis 2 years ago over at the YouTube channel. You have like my full playthrough of Hellgate London. You can now play London 2038, which is an improved version by the community of it. Yisms. Patrick about the university. Don't be shy. That we talk about MMORPGs. Also fire your your comments. You were telling me about becoming English teacher, which of course for me it's incredible because you English is absolutely needed. 100% the most important topic to learn for all of us, the rest of Europeans who don't have that in that sense. So isms. I have a game that you will. What about? This one is older. Have you tried RuneScape? Classic RuneScape, Yims. What about classic RuneScape? Because if you didn't, or if you did so, I have the game for you that I bet you haven't played. Yeah, you played classic RuneScape and recently the old school one. The Black Grimoire Cursebreaker is your game. It's a modernized version of RuneScape. I'm talking old RuneScape with pixels. Yes, indeed that one. Your game is the Black Grimoire Cursebreaker over at Steam. Some fans of it designed a modernized version of RuneScape. It's a different game, where it's completely offline, and it's amazing. The Black Grimoire Cursebreaker. That is your game. That is your game. If you like RuneScape as well. I was named PK Tsunami and spent all day PKing or scamming people was a time of my life in RuneScape. You like all MMORPGs then? Good. Your taste is quite similar to mine then, huh? I like offline MMORPGs. I like playing them offline on my own because I enjoy the combat system rather than the great human interactions that you can have. Because for that I have Star Wars The Republic, which is my favorite MMORPG and game of all time. But yes, basically that. A modern incarnation of RuneScape is the Black Grimoire Cursebreaker. So that one is for you. And here, I think I never showed you. I never showed it to you. If the game freezes after this, you tell me, people, because it sometimes freezes, as it is brutally old. Here I can show you. This one is the one that I want to showcase next year once I come back from my summer holidays. Here is the summer right now, Yims, contrary to all of you over there in the northern hemisphere. Right now we are in the summer, so I'm taking a summer break until January 13th for Christmas and New Year. But after these 3 weeks, I return, and I wanted to showcase this one for next year. The problem is that I don't know how to understand the interface. I don't understand the interface. It's the first MMORPG ever created, so I cannot understand this shit. I will need a bit of help. Hopefully, someone over at the Discord knows. Maybe Crowbar knows how to do so over at Discord. I have my faith in him, as he's the oldest out of all. I think some of the earliest MMOs I have was Darkness Rising, Darkness Fall. Sorry. So this one, as you can see, Ultima Odyssey: Ruins and Riches, is an offline mod for Ultima Online that is tailored for single player walkthroughs. Has different worlds, different difficulties, etc. It's for you to play alone. This one is the one that I recommended to you. I have it here as a replacement for RuneScape, as RuneScape it is quite outdated, the old one and etc. This one is a modernized version of it that I highly recommend to everyone. It's an offline game made by fans of RuneScape. It's a carbon copy of it. Then Lineage 2. I need to play this one. I need to play most of them. Offline reverse engineered. It's a modern version of it. I think it's Helios update, which is quite recent. Then, of course, the jewel of I cannot showcase any of these games online, like on a public stream. I cannot showcase them. It's a bannable offense by Twitch, so I cannot show them. I can just do this for you, sorry people, as much as I would like. This is a jewel of my crown. This is Wrath of the Lich King Azeroth core with raids being soloable. They scale to the amount of people inside of the dungeon. My main MMORPG was Star Wars: The Republic. That this one, yes, is official. Still doesn't have any offline reverse engineer servers. The day that happens, I will probably stop showcasing any other game. I've always said it. So this one is a jewel of my crown. Darkness Falls was an online game created by Mythic Entertainment that was available on GameStop and AOL in the 90s. Yes, my mother was part of the partner program of that one of AOL. Precisely. She was part of a partner program. She had lots of friends from the US. Precisely. Regarding that. Darkness Falls was an internet FRPG. F? What's the F? What does the F stand for? RPG style. First person, like with the camera, game where the players played the role of demons who could enchant items, orcs who had the ability to heal, imps who have a powerful backstab attack, skeletons who have the ability to attack multiple targets, werewolves who have a powerful berserk attack, and zombies who have a pummel attack which deals non-lethal damage. Was there a point in your life where you had no friends at all? Says Patrick. Yes, up until like 10 years from. No, well, friends. The thing is that the concept of friend is quite deep. If you mean friends at school, Patrick, like primary school as we call it here, elementary school, I have always one or two that I played games with. Yes, I would say I can reply to you. In pre-teenage years, between 10 to 13 would be 10 to 13, 14. 10 to 14 years, I would say. It was a MUD, multi-user dungeon, pronounced MUD. It's a multi-user virtual world described entirely in text. So quite different than Super. No, games. There's an obscure 3DS game that is like that. That was only available in Japan. Like it was a dungeon crawler. Yeah, I remember. Only text based. That's like super old school. Damn it. So you played a game. No, you played the other one, the Age of Camelot, that is more modern. So you would say that Darkness Falls is earlier than Ultima. Yeah, well, but text based. I don't know, Yisums. I don't know who would be able to tolerate that that shit on stream. Not even me, and I can tolerate old school shit. Like only text. Yeah, like not even images. That's brutal. We have to go to the 80s. I would never recommend anyone to play that shit. There are some obscure games in the Game Boy that I can recommend that are like that, but better in that sense. So going back, the jewel of my crown, World of Warcraft here, completely offline, works. It is graphically enhanced. It is graphically enhanced. This one has ambient occlusion, extra textures, and etc. Sadly, I cannot show this due to Twitch's policies. It's the saddest case out of all of mine. The Nion, again, this one it's a miracle. This one is the second jewel of my crown of line reverse engineered MMORPGs. This one, I have to try it. This is the game I wanted to try always because people say that this one has the best tap targeting combat ever created. The first Ion. So I need to play it. The Exile Realm of Arborea that revolutionized MMORPGs. This one is needed by Ubisoft 2012. Once again, offline reverse engineered. I can play them all offline. This is what I like doing when I cannot showcase them on stream. Otherwise, I would showcase them. This one created the modern tendency of having a crosshair and more action-oriented combat in MMORPGs like in Skyrim. And then Black Desert, of course, as well reversed offline, reverse engineered, and this one is more modern. This one follows a bit more the formula, the revolution of Terra. Now I get to your question, Patrick. Yeah? Don't worry, I'll go in order. Hellgate London here, which has not only Hellgate Global here, which is the Korean version, and this one is Offline London 2038, which is the modded one that I recommended to you with the custom icon I made there. And finally, Mythos. Mythos is fully offline on Steam. You don't need to do anything. If the image here now froze, people, please tell me so I restart the game. If you see that the game image now doesn't work. Patrick, point in life where you had no friends at all. From 10 years to 13. Pre-teenage. Your Diablo is fine, thank you, James. Pre-teenage years, 10 to 13. Why? Because it was a period of time in which my classmates stopped playing video games and thought it was cool to flirt with girls and all that shit. And myself at 10, 13 years, I wanted to explore all video games possible. So because of that and the addiction to football that there's in my country as well, you can bet it was because of that. Pretty much. Then over at secondary school, which is high school for US viewers, 13, 14, I had pretty much no friends. But then at 15, 16, once again, I found people who like video games, so no problems. And while I was always a pretty solitary person, because consider this, people, consider this, Patrick, especially that you asked the question. My friends were my grandparents. I grew up with my parents, but also my grandparents. My grandparents were 80 years in this period of time, but they were my friends. They were my friends. I didn't need school friends. That's why I'm not used to talk. That's why I also decided to stream, because I'm not used to socialize with people of my age or close to my age. I'm used to socialize with people that double my age or triple my age or several times duplicate my age, like my grandparents. Like my parents had me when they were 40 and my grandparents were 80. So older parents and older grandparents, those were my friends, Patrick. Quite different superworld. I would never recommend anyone to. Dayok had Dayok is damn it. It was reactionary positionary combat. The AOC. Which one is it? Write the full name. Dark Age of Camelot, the one that you love so much, Yims. I have to check it if there's a reverse engineered server. If you liked it so much, you need to have your own server of it. It's so fucking beloved, maybe. If it was so loved by you, you need your own reverse engineered server, Yims. I play Eden, which is a private. Okay. See, the problem is that I cannot showcase all of those things. That's the problem. That I cannot showcase all of those things because it's a tri-realm RVR PvP game, so you need people. Okay. You cannot do You cannot do like in World of Warcraft, like just doing the quests, Yims. You cannot do those, like just doing quests. For example, in World of Warcraft, you can stream that game on Twitch. No. If it's reverse engineered, it's illegal. No. Completely illegal. You technically can't. If the company doesn't care to chase you, it's another story, but you technically can. Because technically reverse engineering, you don't have the authorization of the... I've already researched it. You technically don't have the authorization. That game has quests, but the PvE is with people playing it for the RBR. Define RBR. Realm versus realm. Player versus player. It has to be realm versus realm. Okay, okay, so it's like Guild Wars, like one realm against the other one. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, then I used it realm versus realm. Okay, okay. Damn, Yims. Then you like MMORPGs a lot. Yeah, one faction versus another, but there's three factions. Hibernia, Midgard, and Albion. Okay, so it's like the Elder Scrolls Online. I played that one, for example, as well. On launch, they didn't like it. I said, let's go back to Skyrim. It's the fucking same. It's the fucking same. Yeah, actually, similar to that. That's another one that I would like to have a reverse engineer server of. The Elder Scrolls Online. Patrick, if your question was replied satisfactorily, you tell me, and fire any other you may have. I know that you don't like games that much, but no worries. I just hope the new ESO game will be good. Sniff. There's something I can showcase. I have a... You mean Elder Scrolls 6? Yims. I have to showcase my ultra modded Skyrim. I meant that, yeah. Yeah, I have to showcase my ultra modded. Not ESO, Elder Scrolls 6, yeah. No, I would like a reverse engineered server of Elder Scrolls Online. I would like a reverse engineered server of that. By now it has a lot of content. And yeah. As long as there's no they, them, some blind. Damn isms! And here I thought I was you are in the right stream. You are in the right stream. And here I thought I was the monarchic pro-British demon walking on Earth, Diablo personified, inserting the crystal on my forehead. No, okay, Yisam. Now I'm a fan of you, Yisams. I'm your fan now. It's the opposite, like I am of Patrick and all of the people who join the stream and think alike. Good. Stories about that. In my favorite MMORPG, Star Wars The Old Republic, technically, I have news. Yims. Not a single character is officially male or female. Technically. Not a single one. In my game. Stated by the devs in my favorite game. In Star Wars The Old Republic. Not a single one. Can you imagine a game where no one, they couldn't change the fucking pronouns because all of the dialogue was already written in 2012. That was preserved. They could only say that shit. So yes, pretty much. Pretty much. Not gonna happen because it was bought by Microsoft. It will have the pronouns, it will have all the shit, and modders will have to remove the shit out of it. Yes, not gonna happen, yes. Not gonna happen. Not gonna fucking happen. Elder Scrolls 6 will be full of those things. Beyond anything you can imagine. Why? Because Microsoft bought Bethesda, so technically they own the IP. I think Star Wars as a franchise is more or less done anyways. The second LucasArts and Disney has got their hands on it. It was OG. Indeed, I agree with you. Yims. I agree with you. When do good and evil come from? Where do they come from objectively? Says Patrick. Ah, nice question, Patrick. A nice question. Where does evil and good come from objectively? From the gray color of the spectrum. From romanticizing it. In that sense, I would say is the most accurate answer. which is done through relativism, if you ask me, since the 1600s by Nietzsche and Immanuel Kant. Because romanticizing it eliminates the probability of the individual of being aware of it. If the individual is aware of it, in time and space, then it is much easier to spot it. Being disguised, I would say, is the source that you are asking for. For example, remember you told me that when you discovered my streams and you discovered that you like philosophy and etc., you wouldn't be able to tell all of that shit. For example, when you talk to your friend that was the candy seller and etc. Well, precisely, the fact that you were unable to spot it relativized it, and it is romanticized then, destroying any possibility of having an objective moral compass in life. But I would say the source, in that case, what was it originally? The fact that you couldn't identify it. The inability to identify it, I would say, is the source. Derived from gray, from all being relative, from saying, well, depends on how you look at it. If right now I grab a gun and go on the street and start shooting people, okay. Is it objectively bad if I am actually starving and I just did it for food? To get some food? Yes, objectively it is morally wrong to kill people even if you're starving or you're a soldier in the middle of a war. One thing does not justify the other. It's not black and white. It's there's a black here, there's a white here, one positive action, one negative action, one positive action, one negative action, one after the other, but not mixed, creating a gray in which we romanticize and justify it. I would say is that. Games. You think Star Wars as a franchise is more or less than the second Lucas sold it and Disney Wokies got their hands on it, it was OG. I agree with you. I agree with you. Do you know which was the last piece of media that was developed 6 months before it was sold? Indeed, my favorite game, Star Wars: Your Republic. It was the last piece of media created before it was sold. Not only that, Yisams, the quality of Hasbro lightsabers has also dropped in the materials that they use. I know because I have one, a Force replica with limited units, precisely. Mace Windu one. Force effects, it's a Hasbro signature. Just that I cannot take it because it's inside of the box here. I have the display and everything. So, yeah, I agree with you. It is more or less dead. All of the shit that they've released since then, I remember when I watched episode 7, I think I told it by the end of the previous of the stream in which you were last week. But yeah, I pretty much was joined by some other people, and we couldn't finish that one topic. I went to the to the cinema to watch it. I went to the theater there to watch it. Episode 7. And I shouted outside of the cinema. I think I managed to tell you. I don't know if you got to watch that final part. I shouted, prostitution of sagas is the only time in my life in which I'm generally extremely calm. And I shouted, and people over at the cinema at the exit turned their heads to look at me. Okay, it was so shit that... It was a distraction. It was unfathomable how horrible it is, episode 7. I haven't watched episode 8, fortunately, for my mental health. I haven't watched episode 9. I haven't watched any content post 2012 of it, fortunately, for my mental health. Except The Mandalorian, and I still think it's shit. I still think it's shit. A lot of people praise The Mandalorian and etc. I think it's also shit. The only redeeming factor is that some chapters of the first season of The Mandalorian were written by... I watched that Obi-Wan show, the recent one, and what would you say it was? Besides shit, of course. It has to be. I don't know. I haven't watched anything. In that sense, well, but the Darth Vader fight was sick. Okay, okay, redeeming factor, one of the better ones. Okay, for 2005 standards or modern standards, something like Anakin versus Obi-Wan Episode 3 similar or not? Because you know what's the problem there, right? Few people know this. It's insane, man. Okay, 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 okay. Any virtue signaling turning Obi-Wan into, I don't know, African or I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Middle East religion lover. I don't know. Adding adding a third head to Obi-Wan's body, things like that, saying that he got pregnant. I don't know. You know that in Buzz Lightyear, in the modern version, Disney said that women can get naturally pregnant. Has anyone watched the modern version of Buzz Lightyear, people? Apparently, women, we are able to get pregnant naturally. I don't know how they justify it, but it happens in the movie. If anyone can explain how, yeah, I give you a cookie. I give you a cookie, I give you a prize. No, it seemed... it seemed just a rainbow flag individual. Obi-Wan. Okay, okay, okay. So just... Okay, okay, okay. They just made him a bit more feminine. Okay. Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. No, okay. Or okay, okay. 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 Yeah. Back in 2005, when they... No, you referring to the Buzz Lightyear. Ah, okay, 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 okay. Not Obi-Wan, the Buzz Lightyear. No, is it? No, but they say that that a male character got pregnant in the movie. Yims. I didn't watch the movie, so you may know more about it. But he apparently he got pregnant somehow. We don't know how. If he was precisely that you are describing, but that's what they sell. Because in the movie it doesn't say that he goes to a fucking laboratory and they use like the services of a laboratory. It's just man plus man, he's pregnant. It's like that. If I remember the articles I read about it correctly, it's like man, no laboratory. Man plus man, he goes to a journey in space. He comes back pregnant or some shit like that. It's something like that. It's some shit like that. What happened to it? Remember that we are talking about a movie for... But basically the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is the only good show Disney has made in Europe. Okay, I will consider it. If a person can say some messages ago that Disney was a piece of shit as it with the Star Wars franchise and failed it with lesbians and all of that things and all of those things, and you say that regardless of that, the show is okay. That's a possibility of trying it. I mean, do yourself the favor and at least watch the YouTube fight if you don't want to watch the thing. It's 10 out of 10. In 2005, for the movie that everyone criticized back then, I didn't, it's my favorite movie, Star Wars Episode 3, that everyone criticized back then because they said that Anakin was like, that Hayden Christensen was like a fucking stone without any kind of feeling expressed in the movie, which I defended to my friends back then, and now they agree with me, 20 years later. For the Duel of the Fates that they did there with Obi-Wan and Anakin, is the longest fight sequence in the history of movies, I think, something like that, and only because of that, it's amazing. But not only that one, Sidious versus Yoda, even all of them, all of the fights were perfect. Well, Vader too, I guess. Darth Maul and General Grievous are my favorites. Okay, my favorite is Grievous, indeed. General Grievous, out of that. And then maybe Ahsoka. I have a soft spot for Ahsoka. Well written. No, you know why maybe that show was good? Wait, actually, I just remembered. The show with the guy that flies with the Wookiee was good too. That flies with that Wookiee. I would say that the best showcase of Grievous, if you liked it, I bet you watched it because of, I think you were the age of Kroger, 1991. You said the 2003 show made by Gendy Tatakovsky, of the creator of Samurai Jack. 2003, the original Clone Wars. That's the best depiction of Grievous. He appears by the end of the show. In that sense, was made as a prelude to episode. Was good too. Was made as a prelude to episode 3. Yeah, I agree that it died the second Disney bought it. But well, fortunately we have a massive expanded universe to explore, fans of the series. People generally don't know that the 6 movies are like a small fraction of the whole 40 million years of the expanded universe. Of course, they are not all covered in detail, but basically I have like 50 books to read previous to Disney, that were the original ones made by the original 53 with the original ending by Dark Horse Comics. They are not comics, they are books. They were made into books then. First they were comics, then they turned into books. And then of course all of the Old Republic era. They said that they were working on Knights of the Old Republic. I tremble that they touch my favorite franchise, what they are going to do. Did you watch the anime? In general, yes, of course. In general, well, I am a kid from the 90s, Ims, like you. So I watched, of course, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, then 2003, the original Naruto, of course, Dragon Ball Z in between. You watched Samurai Champion or Berserk? No, not those. I was more of American cartoons, in that sense, besides the popular animes. I was much more of American cartoons. Things like Invader Zim, Samurai Jack, Megas XLR, Ben 10, Generator Rex. Now I'm watching The Secret Saturdays. Chaotic from your home country. That should be a crime. Any Danish individual, Yims, all of your friends, all of your loved ones, everyone has to watch Chaotic because it was so ahead of its time. And I cannot conceive a Danish individual not knowing Chaotic. I didn't watch much of those, but I watched the first Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles, and Transformers. That was the shit. Yeah. Spider-Man, if you like that. I watched the Amazing Spider-Man afterwards. I know you mean the original one. I watched the Amazing Spider-Man, which was, it is universally acclaimed, was very short, as incredible. Batman of the 90s, of course. Batman Beyond. I think it was Batman of the Future in the US. It was Batman Beyond. Batman of the Future is the same. 2003. I always loved Batman. Of course, Justice League. Legion of Superheroes is a quite obscure one. But many more. I'm forgetting many more. Well, Ben 10, Alien Force, and Generator Rex. I said it. I'm watching The Secret Saturdays. They are all pretty much similar. By the same companies, by the same manufacturer. For example, Patrick, that you like Ben 10, you have to watch Generator Rex. It was made by the same creators. But older ones, like the ones you mentioned, Gargoyles, Yims, that one is very old school. Gargoyles was amazing, there with the Scottish mythology. I have to watch that one. I didn't watch it, but I know it was amazing. I watched 1 or 2 chapters. The Teen Titans from 2003, the original ones. As you can see, I was much more American. In terms of Japanese ones, those ones, the classics. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z, and Naruto. Like, very mainstream, as it is called nowadays. I generally debate with District as well from Romania here about those shows. But there's more that I'm forgetting. Of course, I knew I watched every single American cartoon from the early 2000s. I think Ed, Edd and Eddy, Dexter's Laboratory, the Powerpuff Girls. Um, there's an episode. There's a fucking episode in the Powerpuff Girls that is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Time Squad was the first one. Of course, the classic Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, Tom and Jerry, the Looney Tunes. I probably watched more than any sane kid should, in that sense. All of the American cartoons, I can name them by heart, in order. Also, Samurai Jack, as I told you, well, that one is the best one. Star Wars: The Clone Wars 2008. Well, let's not even mention that one. It's my second top one. Amazing. The only things that are good written about Star Wars nowadays are made by Dave Filoni. The Mandalorian, some of the best chapters are written by Dave Filoni, the ones that are worth it. Who is the creator of the clone, the writer of the Clone Wars 2008 before Disney bought it. And contrary to what most people say, the first season was good. Everyone says that the first season was shit. The first season was good. The first season was good, and the movie was good. I am forget. The funniest comedy ever created is a short cartoon precisely called MedianXl. MedianXl. It was hard for me to laugh sometimes, and that one made me laugh. It's just beyond anything. MedianXl. It's the best comedy ever created. As for the rest, we had some European productions. For example, as I told you, Chaotic Danish, Gormiti was Italian, Gormiti with G, Gormiti, The Lords of Earth, and many more. Many more. That they generally don't get the proper spotlight they deserve. There were many more. Well, of course, then it was the revolution of SpongeBob that basically took the world by storm. It degenerated after the fourth season, I think it was. I think up to the third one they are the original ones. Then a lot of time passes, and the fourth one is a mess. But there are many others that are much more obscure, and they are amazing. Danny Phantom, Danny Phantom, Danny Phantom, by the creator of the Fairly Godparents. Danny Phantom. Everyone has to watch Danny Phantom. Sadly, the animation of that one is the same as the Fairly Godparents, so the action sequences are not the best, but that one is amazing. Danny Phantom from 2004. Well, needless to say, everyone has to watch what I mentioned, Batman of the 90s. X-Men Evolution, that is a much more obscure and mature version of it, just like Batman of the Future, but it has amazing life lessons, for example. It was amazing. X-Men Evolution. X-Men Evolution. The Thundercats remake, made in the same animation style as Chaotic and Avatar The Last Airbender. I never liked the Avatar The Last Airbender. Everyone loves it, I don't. I think it has some shitty messages, believe it or not. It does a bit of virtue signaling there that I don't like. In comparison, I think there are much better examples, like I said, Batman of the 90s. Sorry if anyone hates me for bashing Avatar The Last Airbender, for example, but yeah, I think there are better ways to tell that story. Damn-isms. I think I told you every single cartoon that I could remember. There are more. Ninja Turtles from the 90s was amazing as well, the one you say. About Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man. I watched, it's a bit modern, I know that there was a classic. But that one was like more story-driven, the one I mentioned to you. Eh? It had a catchy song and everything. So yeah, pretty much those. Games. Which were yours besides those three? The animes that you mentioned, Samurai Champloo and Berserk. Yeah, I've heard those. It's just that, yeah, pretty much I like more the American cartoons. The anime ones are all long and yeah, pretty much in that sense. There's the theory that video games kinda replaced American cartoons, and that is tragedy. That's an absolute tragedy. In that sense, 100%. So you played WildStar at launch, think it's shit. Once they create a reverse engineered server, I had to play it. The other one that, as I told you, it's painful for me is Darkspore. Darkspore, I wanted to play that one. Darkspore and WildStar are the ones that they were painful for me. They were painful for me. Brutally painful for me. The fact that I didn't have, that I was way too young, maybe I was over at high, I was going through high school. I didn't have time, so yeah, couldn't play them. In that sense, those are sad. You didn't like WildStar, damn it! It was made by Carbine Studios, ex-MMORPG developers of Blizzard of World of Warcraft. Do you like MMORPGs? The other genre that I like is real-time strategy. Age of Empires, Warcraft, etc. Oh yeah, pretty much those. Pretty much those. In that sense. Pretty much those. 100%. Hey, here do we have the quests, people? That's why I like modernizing these classics, like for example Diablo and the rest. We still don't have the quests. So yeah, pretty much. These games had something that I don't find in modern games. I don't know, games. They had a style and a gameplay framework that I just don't find in newer games. In that sense, I think the extra complexity was higher. Even more when World of Warcraft revolutionized it with a sequential rotation. In that sense. So yeah. Hey, here I'm clearing the whole map and I didn't grab any quests, people. Pretty much. So yeah. Pretty much. I want to try Ultima Online, the very first MMORPG. No, but there were others. You have some options. You have some options if you like those old school MMORPGs. You have some options, for example. Where was it? I had it, for example. Which one was it? The name of that one. If the game gets frozen, you tell me, people, because it's old and that can happen. It happened to me the other day. Which one was it? This game that... Sword of Hope. Sword of Hope on the original Game Boy will feel like those old school MMORPGs, for example. Sword of Hope 1 and 2 on the Game Boy, and there's one on the 3DS. That they're like dungeon crawlers that are in first person. They are turn-based. and they will feel like very, very old school MMORPGs. They'll feel like that. Sort of Hope 1 and 2, and I mean the one on the 3DS. I'll have to fire it up to tell you, because it was Labyrinth something, because it was very, very obscure. I wanted to showcase it, as I need to showcase 3DS games, people, as I can stream it. I want to tell you the exact name. Deep Labyrinth, something like that. Deep Labyrinth, no, it was different. Hang on. Beyond the Labyrinth. Beyond the Labyrinth will feel like an old school MMORPG. And another one called Crimson Shroud by the same developers will feel directly like a tabletop Dungeons and Dragons game. You also have Atrian Odyssey 1, 2, and 3, but those are more like, they feel like more Japanese oriented in comparison. But Beyond the Labyrinth will feel like that, and if you like the old school graphics of text-based MMORPGs and etc. from the 80s, from the 90s, the Game Boy has a lot of them. You can find them, and it's portable, and it will be like that. Because at the end of the day, people, the gap wasn't that huge between the Game Boy and a PC back then, because the graphics, if it was text-based, well, you didn't need much. You didn't need much at all. You didn't need much at all, in that sense. So yeah. The Game Boy can provide that specific style of early MMORPG, if you know where to look. The thing is that the games are obscure and most people don't know about them. But yeah, I would recommend Sword of Hope 1 and 2. Great Greed as well, for example. They will feel like that. And then you have the action ones like Zelda, Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons. Those ones are amazing. That sounds pretty much. Oh well. If only all MMORPGs were playable offline, people, the world would be perfect. The world would be perfect if that happened. 100%. That would be the perfect world if MMORPGs had offline versions of them. By law, 100%. Would be amazing. Can you think about it, people? They would be like this, like Diablo, like with the MedianXl mod, like this. They would be amazing like this. It's such an amazing style.
Never forget that your ultimate purpose here in Kurast is to destroy Mephisto.
You don't say.
Imprisoned the Lord of Hatred inside the Guardian Tower that is located within the temple city of Travancore. Know this, friend. The only way to gain entry to Mephisto's prison is to destroy the artifact known as the Compelling Orb. Mephisto used this device to control the Zakarum priests and their followers. The orb can only be destroyed with an ancient flail imbued with the spirit of the one incorruptible priest.
Thomas Aquinas, the one incorruptible priests. In that sense. I remember when they killed the Carcane at the beginning of Diablo 3. That was a pathetic moment in gaming history. In that sense. Thomas Aquinas mentioned, says Patrick, and a little gray. I think, isn't it the one from? It looks like the one from Adventure Time. Let me show. Yeah, the one incorruptible priest, Patrick. Remember that he was sent to a dungeon with prostitutes to not join the church by his own family. In that sense, and he didn't, and the legend says that he didn't that he didn't fall to temptation. So yeah, pretty much. He was the one incorruptible priest from Diablo. If we have to call someone an incorruptible priest, it's him, though he wasn't a priest. But yeah, still. Pretty much, pretty much, pretty much. So I think you'll love the English
Hello?
teacher career, Patrick.
Greetings, hero.
But remember, the objective is to not be overwhelmed to the point you drop from the university. That is your objective. The rest can be solved, but that is the one thing. Where do I buy potions in here? But that is the one thing that you should set as your objective and ensure that you never lose the determination to keep reading, because it will be frustrating for you, I assure you, at some point. Don't think that the argument that you told me previously of but it's because I don't like the math. If it's about English or a subject that I like, well, it won't be a problem. Yes, it will be. Because not all of the topics will entertain you. In that sense, what helps at that point is like understanding that not all topics in English will be like easy to read. For example, I remember once I struggled with causative of have. For example, causative of have is when you say I will go have my hair cut by the hairdresser, of course, in English. While in Spanish you don't say that. You say that directly in first person. I'm gonna go cut my hair would be the equivalent. But you don't say I'll go have my hair cut by another person. So for me it was difficult to learn. Difficult. It took me some tries and I did. But yeah, pretty much. Unlike that, you will have topics like that. For example, you'll have to memorize. You'll have to memorize the present, past, and participle tenses of the verbs. And that will take you a lot of time, eh? I assure you. You have to memorize them. To not say, for example, sometimes I've read that you or district say the past tense of a verb when you try to use the participle. In that sense, the past participle. In that sense. Okay, so pretty much you'll have to memorize those. The list of past of irregular past tense and participle tense verbs. That's the key, pretty much. For example, that as a topic that everyone struggles with when you have to memorize the list. I mean, you start memorizing the irregular verbs and then you try to naturally understand them and etc. Yeah. So, for example, that topic I can mention to you that you will struggle with 100% because of how it is. It's like hard memorizing. It's not something that you can just have fun reasoning about. It's like you need to know the tenses for the irregular verbs. Irregulars are the ones that don't finish with ed. For example, uh, you'll have to memorize the I don't know, a participle one. The American version of get in participle, gotten instead of get. In British English, it remains the same as the past one, so it wouldn't be that irregular. It would be irregular in past, not in participle. So, but in American, it's gotten instead of get. It's get, gotten. Or run with U. Then past is ran with a, and then it goes back to run with you. For example, things like that. That, for example, is a topic that I predict you will have to deal with to remember the irregular versions of the verbs. Patriot, for example. In that sense. For example, eat, of eating food, then ate, but the participle is eaten. So you'll need those. You'll need to learn the time tenses. Simple present, continuous, present perfect, past simple, continuous and perfect, future simple, continuous and perfect. That is the heaviest hit. And then sitting for the certificate in advanced English. If you can do that, the rest falls into place. Don't worry if you are not fluent and cannot speak at the highest speed to the point it sounds natural to other speakers, because that's absolutely natural. At the beginning, work on the basics, and then those things will fall into place. Phrasal verbs will be tough. For example, memorizing the phrasal verbs. I remember it was tough for me. I haven't memorized them all, because you can't, in that sense. So yeah, there you have examples. I would say phrasal verbs that are like automatic formulas that you just have to memorize as well. Can also provide a challenge to you. For example, just so you see that not all is going to be exactly as you'd like it to be, Patrick. Go with an open mind, to be ready to spend an endless amount of time putting in the effort to read those. Okay, so go with that mindset. If you need to take 4 or 6 hours to understand the topic, you do so. Better to do it slowly. I don't believe in fast learning. Fast learning most of the time ends up being wrong in that sense. Ends up being inefficient in comparison. So yeah. Pretty much like that. Pretty much like that. I mean, I ran out of mana here. There was a legendary shield over there. Dropped on the ground. Yeah, this one. Gothic shield, damn it. Drop this. The strength, I don't need it because I never work.